All right, guys. Well, we are almost done with these videos, and so for one of these last few videos, we just want to cover the handbook with you guys. And so you should have gotten a handbook this past Sunday if you were able to make it, and if not, we can get you one of those this next week as well. But we just want to walk through some of the stuff in the handbook with you really quick, just to talk through a few of these things. The guidelines portion of the handbook, John will cover in a separate video, and that's very important for just boundaries and things like that for student ministry and expectations in those areas, and so that's a separate video. So that's really important. But we just want to walk through some of the stuff in this handbook with you guys as well. And so just as I look through this copy, the first couple pages are just about Cedar Crest Church. So if you've gone here for a while, a lot of these things will look familiar just as you've been here and been part of services and stuff like that. But this is just taken straight from the website. And these are just things that we believe about Scripture, about God, about what it looks like to follow Jesus, and then just our mission and our vision as well. And so these first few pages are just about Cedar Crest Church in general, and then and a lot of the stuff that we do in student ministry, the way that we focused everything and the things that we value. A lot of that lines up with what we're doing as a whole as Cedar Crest. And so we'll have a lot of the same things happening for student ministry. It's just going to look a little bit different because it's geared towards middle school and high school students rather than families and adults over in the main building on Sunday mornings. But so everything that we do as a student ministry, we want to line that up with what's happening with the church as a whole, which is why we've changed our small group structure, why we're doing sermon discussion on Sunday mornings of what's happening in the main services rather than doing a separate thing for students. We just want everything to line up really well with what Cedar Crest Church is doing as a whole. And so after you get past the About Cedar Crest page, there's a page that says Student Ministry Values and Identities. This is what John covered in the first few videos of just those 4 identities that we want students to know are true of themselves. And there's a little description under each one in there. And so those are really important just as we cast vision and as we plan events and plan services and things like that. We want to keep these things in the forefront of our mind. We want students to know that all 4 of these things are true of themselves as they learn what it looks like to follow Jesus and build a relationship with him. And then the next page is listed as student ministry roles. So these are different ways that people can serve in student ministry and get involved. And so if you see things on here that you're interested in, if you're already a small group leader, obviously you're doing that role. But if there are other things that you're interested in, or if you know people that would be good at some of these other roles, feel free to reach out to them and tell them what some of this looks like, and you can get them in touch with me or John or Jessica as well. And so we can talk through some of that stuff with them. And so we just want to give people a description of what that looks like. And so at the top, you've got the job descriptions of John and myself, of just our responsibility of keeping ourselves healthy, and then and serving you guys really well and walking alongside you guys and leading you guys well as you guys lead our students. And then the different roles that we have in student ministry are they're the same for middle school and high school. And so we have small group leader, which is a lot of you guys watching this video, of leading a group of students and discipling a group of students into a relationship with Jesus and what it looks like to follow him. One thing that we're going to add this year is coaches. And this is something that we kind of had last year, and this year will be a lot more defined role. And so the job of a coach is to have, instead of a small group of students, they will have a group of you leaders. And so they will, their job is to just make sure that you guys are doing okay, that you guys have everything that you need. They can try to fill in for you guys on a Sunday morning if you need that, if you and your co-leader aren't able to make it. And so their job is to really just help disciple you guys. And so they won't be here every single Sunday, but they will be in contact with you guys. And that's just an extra layer of support. Just as our ministry grows and as we have more leaders, that's just an extra person that's pouring into you guys and praying for you and encouraging you and all of those things. And so that's a huge role. Another one that we have is production. So if you guys know anything about production or lights or audio or video, you're more than welcome to help us out with some of that stuff. And we'll have you guys working alongside Eric Lee, who is our production master here at Cedar Crest, and he knows all that kind of stuff. He's the expert in all that. So we'll have you guys, we can plug you guys in with some training and stuff like that if that's something that you're interested in, or if you know somebody that's good at that. Another one that we're doing this year that we want to do a way better job of is guest services, specifically in student ministry. That's something that in the main building, I think that we do guest services really well. I'm also biased because the guest services director is my wife, but I think that that's something we do well, of welcoming people and inviting them into Cedar Crest and helping break down walls that they may have before they even get in the doors, and just making them feel welcome and at home as soon as they get in the doors. And so we don't want this to stop over in the student building either. And so we want to have a team of people that's passionate and really concerned with students feeling welcome and making them feel at home, and making them feel like this is somewhere that they belong before we even get the service started. Because a lot of people are going to make their first impression of a church, of whether or not they're going to come back, within the first 10 minutes of being there. And so we want students to be able to just feel welcome and help break down some walls and help them with any anxiety or anything like that they might be feeling if they're new here. And so if that's something that you're interested in, or if you know people that are good at this or would be interested in that, feel free to put that in front of them as well. And we have worship as well. So if you can sing or play instruments or anything like that, just let us know. We'll try to get you plugged in on the worship team and set up some of those meetings to go through that process. And I would love to have you guys in that aspect as well, helping lead worship. And so that's mainly on Sunday nights and Wednesday nights for our big service times. And then for games as well. This is just leading service games and just kind of having some fun before we start services and stuff like that, just so that students can break down some of those walls and we can help students just kind of feel like they're a part of the group as they're getting ready for service and all that kind of stuff. And so if you ever want to lead any of those, just let us know and we can get you plugged in with some of that as well. And so those are the roles that we have in student ministry. If there are other things that you would like to do as well and help out in, then some of these we can make that happen if you're a small group leader too. And so we would love to know about some of that stuff if you're interested, or if you know people that are good at any of these things or interested in any of these things, we can get them plugged into a role doing that in student ministry. And then the next section is the guidelines, which John will cover in a separate video of just different things just different boundaries and things that we need to be aware of and be careful of in student ministry. And those things are to protect you guys as well as protect the students. But John will cover more of that stuff in a separate video. And then towards the very end of this, we have some relationship tips. And so these are just good just to go through, especially if you're a new leader, just getting some ideas of what it looks like to just really build relationships with students and things like that. And so there are a few expectations in here just for small group leaders. And that's one is that, we're interacting with students 99% of the time that we are here for student services. And so I know it can be easy and a little bit more comfortable sometimes to be around some of the other leaders and hang out with them. But we really want to make sure that we're spending a lot of our time with students, sitting with students during the services, and really being there and a part of that with them, so they can see you guys experiencing that with them. But then they can also see that you guys are really there and plugged in and paying attention and all that kind of stuff, and just modeling that for our students. And then just knowing that you guys are really making disciples. You're not just sitting in a group and going through some questions with a group of students, but that you guys really are making disciples. And we're thankful to have you guys on the team because of that, because you guys are really down in the dirt and doing the dirty work of discipling students, walking through messes with them, walking through things that they're going through. And so all of that is super important, and that's huge. And so you guys really are the heartbeat of this ministry, and you guys are the reason that we can do what we do, and the reason that we can have so many students come be a part of student ministry here is because of the commitment and the time that you're investing into these students and into their walk with Jesus. And so we're extremely thankful for that. And so we just put some tips in here so you can read through some of those just to get some ideas of what it looks like to do some of these things in a small group setting. And then the very last page is the commitment sheet. And so these are just things that we're agreeing to just for you guys and for us, that we're agreeing that this is what it'll look like for all of us to serve together in student ministry. And so just look over this commitment sheet. There's a place at the bottom for you guys to sign and date it. So just make sure that you do that. And this will be part of the paperwork that you will turn in to Jessica. And so we just want to make sure that we have this on file. But these are just things that we're all committing to, not just you guys as volunteers, but we're all going to commit to these things as we help lead these students and as we're a part of this. And so that's pretty much the handbook. John will cover the guidelines in a separate video. And then if you guys have any questions about any of this stuff, feel free to reach out to us, to email us, call us, anything like that. We're more than happy to talk through any of that stuff with you guys as well. But so thank you guys for leading Thank you for being a part of this ministry and for investing so much of yourselves into this ministry. And we're just thankful that we get to serve alongside you guys, and can't wait to see what God does through you guys this semester.